welcome to our first UX design project for UX Design 1. For this project, we were creating a microwave interface and essentially going through the steps of the design process to do so. So just kind of a quick overview, we created a case study, and that is what you're seeing here on the screen. So the study essentially has information about each step that we did, starting from the research side of it, the analyzation side of it, the design and wireframing of it, and then our launch and validation testing, and sort of the conclusions that we came to after our so-called launch. So I'm going to take you guys back up. So our challenge was to create a highly responsive interface microwave interface oven based on extensive user research. Our process was to develop a questionnaire to understand what our users preferred and did not prefer with their current microwave interface. Through their responses, we were able to cultivate smart solutions and design a new user-focused microwave interface. Of course, the goal for that is to create a new human-centered design for a microwave interface derived from extensive research on microwave usage. So the group and I got together and discussed certain questions that we wanted to have on our questionnaire. We used Google Forms to create the questionnaire, and did some interviews with our family members to see what questions worked and what questions did not. I actually figured out that I had a very open-ended question, which we learned in one of our chapters is not the best way to go about things. I had a very open-ended question that essentially said, which buttons do you use frequently on your microwave? And of course, most people would have to go look at their microwave, and it's difficult to do if you're maybe on your phone or somewhere else and you're not able to accurately answer the questionnaire. So we decided to do a essentially like a checkbox for each one, and that's what you see here is all the different basically all the different options you could choose. And the question was select the buttons on your microwave that you regularly use. Start, of course, at 30 seconds. All of these were in the larger percentiles. But I basically just kind of went down the list of all the different options that we could think of. And I even added a section in there to write in a button that they didn't see there. And of course, um, some people wrote in pizza. I know that there is, but I'm not sure. Um, so yeah, so it was really interesting to see that response, and just kind of how even at the research level, how designing even the questionnaire can really have a big impact on what type of data you get and how you go about your design. So the problem we were trying to face after after understanding what the data was showing was, according to our statistics, the problems we found with the traditional microwave interfaces were identified as insufficient cooking. So cook times were a little off, difficult to clean, and too many features. It was a confusing interface, which is what stuck out to us. Um, so this kind of explains that there's a standard questionnaire that we developed, and how we carefully crafted these questions to provide the best feedback. Um, one question that I thought was really great was whether or not you preferred a push to release door or a handle for your door. A lot of people chose the handle. I think kinetically it just feels a lot better. And a lot of people chose the touchscreen over the traditional buttons. And you'll start to see that also in our wireframe area. So some of the conclusion that we came to was just the fact that the modern microwave consists of many different buttons that aren't used efficiently and have little to no functionality. So these are buttons like, like potato, or, sometimes the defrost button, or they'll just have various different items on there that a lot of people don't typically use on a day-to-day basis. And that can crowd your interface and make it feel confusing. And typically they'll go to just 1 to 2 different buttons, which is usually what we see here on this higher percentile. And so after analyzing the data that we have up here, we were able to create some pretty cool user personas. So here we have Claire Gold, who's age 26, and she is in Denver, Colorado. She goes to Community College of Aurora, and she is a student and a mother. She has a 3-year-old daughter and is enrolled in community college. Claire rarely parties due to her responsibilities to Sarah, her daughter. She loves family, but due to complications, she supports herself and is completely independent. Patterns and behaviors, provides food and shelter to her daughter and makes dinners instead of going out because it's cheaper and adds quality mother-daughter time. Goals and motivations are wants to provide the best life possible for her daughter, has motivation every day to keep pushing through the stress and daily hassles. Her goal is to acquire a part-time or full-time job in a PA service. So that's just one of our user personas that would have been potentially using a microwave. So the discussions here were, Claire obviously is very busy. She's in school. She has a daughter, and she may or may not have time to cook a whole meal. There's a lot of things that she may need to microwave, and she doesn't have a lot of time to play around using all the different buttons and trying to figure out what they mean. She wants to make sure that she's able to get to her microwave and execute the task she needs to do as quickly as possible. So just a contrasting user persona here is Gabe Dwemer, age 23, in Atlanta, Georgia. He is a sophomore at Georgia Institute of Technology, and of course the occupation is student. So about Gabe's, he spends most of his time studying or partying, not much time cooking. Always has to have the latest gadgets and personalize them to fit his personality. Gabe lives in the dorms of Georgia Tech, and when he's not out studying, he is going to parties at the fraternity houses. Patterns and behaviors. He prepares most of his meals via microwave, so efficient cook time and quality is a must. Doesn't know the first thing about cooking. Many late nights microwavable snacks. He does not like the cook time to go above 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the item. And Gabe's motivations are motivated by the competition amongst his peers to be up to date with technology and owning the most coveted tech. So these two personas do differ. Gabe is more of a kind of tech head where he has to have like the latest cool stuff. He's a young man and is very interested in technology. And then of course we have a mother that is working through college and just really cares about family and things like that, and trying to get it done. So these two people can definitely have a very different outlook on what makes a cool device, a cool microwave, what have you. And what we try to do in our wireframe is bring those together.
All right, now we're going to move forward into the design and wireframing part of the process. And so the biggest thing within the design and wireframe is that we needed to make sure that we're corresponding our research information and our studies into this wireframe, into the layout, and into this future microwave that we're creating. And we want to make this wireframe as interactive as possible, as visual as possible, so everyone that looks at this case study will be able to understand the direction that we're going in for future microwave interfaces. So first and foremost, we're going to move down a little bit into this first interface off to the left. As you can see, there's buttons 1 through 9 with the pound button and everything, and it also has a Bluetooth feature along with a volume feature. These two features were pretty important to us during our research and our collaboration part of this project. We talked about it a lot, actually. We wanted the users to be as in control as possible with this microwave. So incorporating a Bluetooth feature will be able to help the user control the microwave from a different room and not actually having to go to the microwave and actually control it manually. With the volume buttons, with the volume feature, the biggest thing about this is when food is done in the microwave, the beep goes on for a couple of seconds, and for a lot of people, that's annoying to people. And we wanted to give the option to just get rid of it. So if we want to do a mute, if we want to turn the volume down to its lowest setting, we can also do that. And it's very accessible right on the front of the interface. Moving to these two next pictures off to the right, um, what we wanted to picture here for our audience is the actual entire layout of the actual microwave. Off to the left, it was just the interface part with the buttons and the functionalities to it. To the right is going to be the full-on blown microwave, the front and center, which is the one underneath the top one, and then the top, it shows everything off to the right side of the microwave itself. And the biggest thing, the intention of keeping the interface simplistic but complex was a decision based off enabling more control for the users is the biggest thing that we wanted to do. Moving down to the feature characteristics, we wanted something to be special about this microwave, about this case study, and some of the things were the sensitivity and consistency within the touchscreen. So nowadays, we live in the 21st century where touchscreens are on everything, but the wear and tear is the biggest problem that needs to be executed within validation, within multiple steps. We can't have the microwave interface, because it's touchscreen, get worn and torn down within a couple of months. We just can't let that happen. The clean interface with promising Bluetooth features, like I presented before. We wanted the user to be more in control of the microwave, so we think that this would be a good feature to have within a Bluetooth, within at least this prototype of the case study. Every button, different functionality. This is a complicated one, but very simple to the point. We wanted to keep the buttons to a minimum on the interface, because a lot of buttons on current microwaves don't have a lot of functionality to it, and the usability is just not clean and simplistic to it. So we wanted to make it clean and simple for users from 12 years old all the way up to 90 years old. We wanted the demographic to be as wide range as possible. But when we include Bluetooth features, we needed to include an app for it. So we created an app, and as you can see right underneath these features is the little square with the TMC logo with the app icon, and right underneath that it's going to be the app interface on a iPhone, and this actually gives the user a lot more control, so they can control it from wherever they are. If they're in the other room and they hear the buzzer go off, they can go ahead and mute it right on their cell phone. And going down to the launch and validation and testing aspect of this project. Some of the biggest impacts we have made was that we needed to make sure that this microwave was able to be used in a suitable way and a reliable way, excuse me, for a huge range of demographic. This is a microwave. It's going to be in every household of every common home. So we got to make it as simple as possible, but enabling the user to do whatever they want with it. And navigation is adaptable due to simplistic, interactive, and customizable interfaces. This is the next generation of the 21st century. Everything that's technology has to be customizable to give that extra push that consumers would want to buy it. Shortcut buttons from app that allows the user to start and end a session without being in the room. Like I was telling you before, is that it gives the user full control on, they can control it in whatever room they are in their house, and it's hopefully that gives the consumer a little bit of a push to grab our product and to pursue in our product. And some of the reflections while we were making this project, we went through a lot of trial and error through different interfaces and different type of research and combining all of it within collaborations. We wanted it to be as convenient as possible with people, and we thought Bluetooth would be really good and really reliable to an individual while using their microwave. And simple and clean layouts is one objective. Buttons present less confusion because it's just like a remote in this case. The more buttons on a remote will cause a lot more stress and confusion, just like our microwave. So we want the user to be able to feel at home and be able to use the product very, very simple. And then lastly is equipping Bluetooth technology into everyday devices to make their life easier and more productive. And I'm not going to go over it again, but that's mainly what it is. And we wanted to make sure the user was in full control of everything. So that's about end of the case study, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. We put in a lot of work into this, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.